Let me share an example of a common theme in the ACL journey. We're going to use someone named George as our example. 9 months ago, George tore an ACL. There was surgery, rehab, strength, and months of getting that knee ready. Finally, the day comes and it's time to get busy. The strength, that looks good. The jumping, looks great as well. George gets the word every injured athlete wants to hear. You are getting ready to go back. But then again, something happens. Something strange happens. He steps into the field, and guess what? He freezes. Not because the knee hurts or his leg isn't strong enough. He simply doesn't trust it. And research suggests this may be one of the most overlooked parts of the ACL recovery. I know because I was there. I had a 320-pound lineman fall on my knee. So oftentimes, the knee gets ready before the person does. And what happens next may surprise you. Let's go. Most ACL rehab focuses on what we can see and measure. For example, things such as how strong is the leg, how far can you hop, can you run, can you cut, how does the knee move. So all of that matters. But George, continuing with our story, is showing us something else. There may be actually two recoveries happening at the same time. One is the recovery of the knee, and the other is the recovery of trust. George simply isn't thinking about the knee, he remembers the injury, the pop, the surgery, the long rehab. And now that the brain is asking, can I really trust this again? This article review describes fear of injury, hesitancy, lack of confidence, and even changes in athletic identity as important psychological effects following an ACL injury and surgery. But here's where things gets really interesting. What if the fear changes the way your body moves? Remember George standing on the field. Let's say a ball comes towards him. He plants the surgical leg. The brain remembers what happened before. And the body may begin protecting the knee. And you all know, when you're playing your sport, you want to be locked in. You don't want to be thinking about that leg. You want to be locked in. So, in this article, researchers found something interesting after an ACL reconstruction. Higher levels of fear have been linked with differences in things like muscle activity, landing mechanics, leg symmetry, strength, and hop performance. So George's fear may not be simply a thought. This may affect how he moves. It doesn't mean being scared automatically causes another ACL tear, but it does tell us something important though. We need both brain and knee tracking at the same wavelength. You gotta be like this, gotta be together. So that creates a bigger question. If fear can affect movement, could someone pass a physical test and still truly be ready? Back to George. Strength test looks good. Hop test looks good too. Knee motion, super solid, yet George still doesn't fully commit when it's time to play. This review also found greater fear of movement or re-injury was connected with lower odds of return to sport. This one study also included in the review found that people reporting higher fears were 70% less likely to return to sport. And this is where we have to be careful when we speak to our injured athletes. It's easy to say, yeah, come on, George, let's trust it. Where we really should be saying, what do you trust? And thankfully, we don't have to guess. There are actual ways to measure this. Think about everything we measure during ACL rehab. We measure strength, motion, balance, jumping, and running. But what about confidence? What about fear? What about whether George actually feels ready to return it? So the research highlighted a tool called the ACL RSI, and that stands for the ACL, Return to Sport After Injury. And here's what matters. It helps measure psychological readiness to return to sport. So think about the dashboard in your car. Your speed is important, but speed isn't the only thing on your dashboard. You also want to know how much gas is left. Is the engine okay? Is the warning light? ACL rehab can work the same way. Strength is one gauge, movement is another, pain is another, confidence should be another. But measuring fear is only useful if we can do something about it. So what happens when his confidence tells us, I'm not ready yet? This is the hopeful part. Finding fear does not mean George failed rehab. It means we found another part that needs rehab, and that's rebuilding trust. The studies in this review looked at different approaches. One is imagery training, where you mentally practice successful movements. This is drawn to reduce fear in one study. Another, training programs, advanced training programs, improve psychological and functional readiness in another. And every athlete is different, but the bigger message remains. If fear is affecting recovery, overcoming fear could become part of the recovery plan. So imagine George several weeks later, same field, same knee, but something is different. George has practiced more, he has more sports-specific movements, confidence has been tracked, and that brings us back to where we first started. George is standing at the edge of the field again. But this time, when the ball comes towards George, there's no freeze. George completely trusts the leg. And maybe that's one of the most important lessons we learned from this research. Return to sport shouldn't only ask, can your knee do it? We should also ask, do you believe you can do it? If you torn your ACL, your comeback isn't just about rebuilding the ligament. It's about rebuilding the part of you that believes you can move freely again. So remember this, your knee not only has to be strong enough to return, it also has to have big trust enough to return. And that trust can be rebuilt. I was there. I rebuilt that trust coming off an injury, returned back to sports, did what I needed to do, and now I'm here. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, send it to grandmama, grandpapa, your cousins, your teammates, and I'll see you all for the next one.